Welcome this morning to this long-awaited day here at Utah Valley University. Definitely a green letter day here as we cut the ribbon on this beautiful Business Resource Center. We welcome all of you. My name is Val Hale, Vice President for University Relations. I'm actually substituting. Val Peterson is the one who was originally slated to welcome you and do this, but he last night missed a connecting flight out of Atlanta. He moonlights as a colonel in the National Guard. He was in Washington, D.C. yesterday, and so he missed his flight. He's at this moment probably at about the point of the mountain driving down, so he'll be here in a few minutes. And I might mention that at UVU there are two vice presidents, Val the Greater and Val the Lesser, and I'm the latter. So we have so many dignitaries here today, so many wonderful people to celebrate this occasion with us, and I want to acknowledge a few, but there are so many here, I'm afraid I might miss someone. Obviously, we're delighted to have the governor with us today, Governor Herbert and several of his staff, Spence Eccles and others from the Office of Economic Development. We have others on the program that will be acknowledged. We have trustees here from the university. We have a number of vice presidents. We have Commissioner Cedarberg. So many, many people here, and I don't have time to mention all of you. We also have several who we will introduce on the program. Val Peterson called me last night and said, I really want you to thank a few people specifically. And one was Brad Whitaker and Cito. Brad, Cito, this could not have happened without your participation. Mayor Evans is here and several city council members from Orem, and we really appreciate their involvement. The other that he specifically asked that I mention is Veronica Jacobson from the Economic Development Administration. Is Veronica here? Right here. Veronica, thank you so much. He said that your role was critical. And the third that he mentioned was Jim Michaelis and the physical facilities crew at Utah Valley who came in, renovated this facility, and made it a beautiful, wonderful facility. Jim, where are you? He's right out here. Jim, thank you so much. We'll proceed with the program, and President Holland wanted me to mention that once the ribbon cutting has taken place, you're free to roam throughout the facility, take a tour, enjoy seeing what we've created here, and so we hope you'll take advantage of that. This is actually my first time in the building. I'm looking forward to walking through it myself. You have programs in front of you, and so I'll just quickly go through and outline what we're going to do, and then we'll proceed in that manner. First, we're going to hear from Fraser Bullock, who has co-chaired our UVU Business Engagement Strategy, and a very wonderful group of people who have helped us develop our strategy in economic development and business development. Then we will hear from our president, Matthew Holland, and then we have a special presentation. We're going to invite Dean Norm Wright from the Woodbury School of Business to make an introduction and a special presentation at that point. And then we'll be favored to hear from the governor, Governor Herbert, and he'll be introduced by President Holland. And after the governor's remarks, this is the way we'll proceed with the ribbon cutting. These first three rows, you will all be participants in the ribbon cutting. And so we invite you to go out. Steve Roy, raise your hand, Steve. Steve will orchestrate this. He'll be directing traffic out there. The rest of us can go out and observe it, take part in it. But we'll just proceed in that manner. So, Fraser?
Thanks, Val. I can recall many, many months ago when President Holland called me and asked me to be engaged with this business group. And that was about the same time the governor was encouraging me to participate in his optimization commission, and it was the same time my wife had me on the Just Say No campaign. But what I learned is you don't say no to the governor, and you certainly don't say no to President Holland. He is a man of vision, and what I came to understand with the group, and there are so many, I'm just representing this group of wonderful business leaders that came together. What I came to understand is he has an incredible vision leading an academic institution because he understands two key principles. One, we want to provide opportunities for these great students to have an education that closely aligns with their future, their careers, whatever they're going to participate in. And to do that, to build a bridge with the business community is essential. And second of all, beyond the training, also to have tangible opportunities for them to participate even while in college and shortly thereafter in terms of visions of creating new companies and engaging with business leaders. So with that context of a background of his vision, we then came together as a business community along with Craig Bott. He was absolutely fabulous in a facilitator with President Holland and his great team to create these elements of strategy. And what came out of that were things that President Holland will talk about, but they really provide tangible manifestations of President Holland and his team's vision. One is we have been able to more closely align the education of these students to what they're going to be experiencing either a few months or a few years after their academic education. Second of all, the area of tech transfer. There are these wonderful ideas and resources at our institutions that go unrealized, but that's changing in a dramatic way, and especially with the leadership of UVU, where we can take this tremendous intellectual property ideas and make them tangible ideas to create economic growth here in Utah. And third, taking those two pieces and combining it with the last piece, which is this resource center, where people can come together, both business entrepreneurs who have ideas in an incubator environment, or these students to collaborate with business leaders or on their own to develop ideas and have the resources and training and business people who can work with them to take those ideas to fruition. What's amazing in all of this is how fast it's happened. This was started not very long ago under the leadership of President Holland. The group came together, developed the strategies, and those strategies are well underway, and here we have a fabulous manifestation of this. And as somebody who is a participant in this business community, I am absolutely thrilled with the leadership of this institution, with the wonderful students here at UVU, and now the opportunity to take greater steps forward in the realization of their dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fraser. Engaging with the business community was a top priority for me as I came into office, and as we got thinking about developing a strategy, I wanted it to be practical and make a meaningful difference. I wanted to be visible and have real credibility. And I knew that the key to that would be getting the right champion, and Fraser Bullock stepped forward. He was absolutely the right champion, and we couldn't be more grateful to him for his leadership, joined with our terrific trustee chair, Greg Butterfield, who couldn't be here this morning. He's traveling, but with their leadership, I really do think we've come forward with something meaningful that I'd like to speak about for just a moment today, because it really is the larger context for what we're doing this morning. This building, if you will, is a great, I think, signal accomplishment for the university in and of itself. But for me, it's even more exciting than that, because it's part of something larger and more robust, and I think more meaningful to our community and to the students of this valley. And so it's so wonderful to have all of you here today to celebrate with us. Governor, we're so honored to have you joining with us. We're glad that Spencer could come. He does a great job for you with economic development. And I'm honored to have the Commissioner of Education, my predecessor here, Bill wasn't actually going to come, and then we told him that lunch was free, and so that somehow changed his decision calculus, and he's here. We're grateful for that. On a more serious note, I do have to say, I'm a blessed man, and one of the more blessed parts of my life is I get to stand up and take credit for a lot of things that Bill started, and this is one of them. This dates back to ideas that he had, and I'm so sad that Val Peterson can't be here to help kick this off, because Bill and Val worked very closely together to lay the groundwork that made it possible to do the things that we're doing today. So very fitting that Commissioner Cedarberg could be here. And Val apparently is en route from the airport, so at some point we hope we can give him proper acknowledgement. But even in his absence, I want to pay tribute to his leadership and his vision about what he's doing here, or what has been done here. Well, as Fraser mentioned, we convened this group very early after I came into office to not have people show up and say, okay, here we are as a university, here's what we're going to do for you, but to listen and to say, what does the business community need us to be doing as an institution? Because that's what we want to do. We want to be nimble, we want to be responsive, and we want to as much as we can, within the parameters and the framework of what a university should be, we want to be able to adapt to the needs of this valley and this environment, and this is what we've tried to do. And we can give you, if you're interested, the detailed report about this study, which is, I think, quite interesting in and of itself. But I'd like to just hit the highlights of what we were asked to do and now what we've done in response to that, and culminating with the development of this terrific Business Resource Center. So to begin with, we were encouraged to get involved with technology commercialization. We dabbled in it a little bit here and there, but we said there's a need for it in the region. We've got a great associate university in the valley. We've got lots of bright, smart folks who work in the private sector who are coming up with ideas. What can we do to be a resource to the whole valley? And so we've gone to work on that, and we've created a new technology commercialization office. We've hired Kent Millington. Kent's around here somewhere. Where's Kent? Oh, there's Kent over in the corner. Val Peterson, come on in. A round of applause for Mr. Peterson. That was just for making it here. Now a round for what you actually done. So. If your ears were burning a few minutes ago, we were talking about you and your great leadership on this project. Kent Millington's come on board. Kent is the ideal leader for this operation. He comes with experience both in the private sector and the business world and doing this kind of thing, and he's got a lot of academic experience. He knows the world of higher ed, and sometimes the worlds of higher ed and business don't understand each other. They're hard to communicate with each other. There are some different dynamics. There are reasons for that. And so people who can build those bridges between the two are very valuable, and Kent's as good at that as anybody I know. We've already got patents that have been filed and underway as a result of his leadership and things that are happening with some of our faculty, with, for instance, the WaterJet International Project, with our faculty and students. But again, we want to make this as a resource available to the broader community. So both from within UVU and beyond UVU, Ken is working to help move forward tech commercialization in the area. I loved it that the business leaders thought that this was something that we should be involved with here at UVU, that UVU could take a leading role in increasing educational rigor in the area, starting with ourselves, but also extending into the realm of public education. And we've taken that charge very seriously. I think I can say with a straight and honest face that we have developed the most active K-16 alliance in the state. At least that's what leaders around the state tell me when they see what we're doing. I meet regularly with each of the superintendents of public education. We talk about practical things that we can work on together that will enhance the educational experience through the whole K through 16 experience. Just one example, we in conversation with the superintendents, we realized that one of the challenges is connecting the counselors in public ed to higher ed, so that the public ed counselors know what the expectations are for higher ed, know how to transition their students into higher ed, what students need to do to be prepared to move on to higher ed. And so we realized we were sitting on a gold mine of resources for professional development for those counselors. So at our expense, we've organized a high school counselors conference. They come in for a day. We bring our faculty to bear, our administrators to bear on workshops. That gets them on our campus. It's really enhanced the whole counseling process through that K through 16 system. That's just one example of what we're doing to try to forge those better connections and draw more kids in to higher ed with setting better expectations earlier about what they need to do to succeed academically. You may have seen some of the press about our new structured enrollment policy. I think this is in many ways one of the real linchpins of our academic mission moving forward, and it's been our way to signal to the community and to public education that there are standards at UVU. Now, we've done it creatively. We're still open admissions. There's still a path for those people who need the community college experience or who need a little remediation or come from an underserved population in some way. But the real linchpin of this is that there are now these enrollment standards that if you're going to take advantage of the full 4-year experience at UVU, you'll have to have a good ACT score. You'll have to have a high school diploma. You'll have to be ready to show that you're proficient in math and English to move forward. And the superintendents have embraced this. They say this is just the tool we've needed to help our people understand that we've got to set better standards and have better accomplishment for our students coming out of the public ed system. And then finally, and most recently, I saw Bill Holderstrom earlier, we've partnered with the United Way. They have adopted a terrific project as a focus for them that we're piggybacking on what we now call our university project for civic engagement. As I've suggested, we started early with the business community, but if we're going to engage with this community, we have to go beyond business and engage the rest of the civic society, if you will. And so for our civic engagement project, we're partnering with United Way to see what can we do to help promote literacy and numeracy for our youngest students, so that by 3rd grade, they're at reading level. That we've got mounds of data that shows what a difference that makes. And we'll bring our university resources to bear on helping develop those more rigorous commitments to literacy and numeracy at the very earliest ages. Cluster acceleration. We are encouraged to take a leading role in cluster acceleration. There were a number of different ideas on the table about how to do that. The one that we globbed onto was the digital media cluster. Seemed it is a natural fit for this community. So we secured funding and then hosted an effort that brought together business leaders, education leaders, government leaders to produce a blueprint for accelerating the digital media cluster here in Utah. We've also helped organize and participate in 2 very successful statewide summits on digital media. Again, in the spirit of our business engagement strategy, this is just the beginning. We're not an institution that likes to do studies on the shelf. We like to gather the data, do the analysis, and then actually accomplish something. And we're now moving into the stage of actually following through on the things that are laid out in the blueprint for moving that cluster forward. Career pathways, a number of things that we're doing here. We've developed a new electronic connection with the high school counselors about what they've been telling their students in terms of their preparation for occupation. We're working with the K through 16 Alliance right now on a specific project to redesign or improve curriculum in a certain way that will connect students with a more streamlined curriculum that's more recognizably tied to a job. And so that we can put them on a path, and it'll be a clean, smooth path from the minute they enter in their college doors towards some employment opportunity on the other end. Thanks to university partners like Dan Campbell and others, we've been able to create an Institute for Professional Engagement. This is an exciting new development where we have folks who are going to help take our students out into the community, into your businesses, to the hospital, to law firms, to research operations, to manufacturing plants, to show these kids what it would be like to work in that field and to experience that and taste that for a day and then channel that into the counseling they get about the decisions they're making about the careers they choose. This, I thought, was one of the most interesting inputs from the business engagement strategy, is that the business leaders talked about more and more of the world is heading towards that part of the world. We don't really see anything going on campus with respect to China. That was true. We didn't have really anything. We didn't have any language. We didn't have any courses really around that area at all. And this had been on my mind and some of our academic leaders, and there was just a great kind of marriage of interest and opportunity here, and we've made a major focus on this as a new development in the university. We've hired 5 new faculty across different disciplines and languages, management, philosophy, et cetera, to help us develop 3 new minors in language, China studies, and Chinese commerce. We did a year-long spotlight on doing business with China, and last year, with the help of Dean Wright and others, we hosted a very successful Doing Business with China conference. We had over 200 business leaders across the state participate in workshops and conferences that I think were very well received and very practically oriented about how we can help our folks go over there to do business, how we can bring their business over here to interact with us, and we'll continue with that as an annual exercise. In recognition of some of what we're doing, we've been singled out by the Department of Ed for a special award that has some money and resources tied to it for improving what we're doing with our China studies here. And it was a great honor for me to be invited by the governor to represent higher ed on his trade mission to China. That had a huge impact on a number of the things that we're doing. That was time so well spent for us, and I want to thank you again, Governor, for your invitation in doing that. Finally, we're to the kind of where we all started in terms of entrepreneurship. We've got new leadership for our Entrepreneurship Institute. Shauna Theobald has come on board. She's helping to partner with the Kauffman Foundation, a nationally recognized foundation. We've had Pete Robinson playing that role before. He's done a fantastic job getting it started. Pete's here somewhere, but he's also a faculty member. This puts full-time resources into the Institute, and Shauna's providing some great insight and leadership about how to move that forward. We've gone a step beyond that, not just reviving or taking the Institute to the next step. We've got Steve Roy here. Steve needs to stand up. Steve, please stand up. Steve is our new Associate Vice President for Economic Development. He'll be the one leading this, all the things that I'm talking about today and giving oversight to this building. We're delighted to have him on board. We swiped him away from USTAR. He still retains a relationship with them, but spends more of his full-time responsibilities with us. And then finally, this Business Resource Center as a one-stop shop for entrepreneurship activity here. As you can see, this is not a small operation. I hope you'll take a time to walk around the building to see the 11 pods that will be used for business incubator spaces, 13 offices, 2 conference rooms and training rooms. And along with that, look at the people that will be housed in this physical space. We'll have CEDO there, the Commission for Economic Development of Orem. EDC Utah will have a presence here. The Manufacturing Extension Partnership will have a presence here. PTAC, the Counselors to America's Small Business, folks who have retired but want to give back to students and give mentoring advice and counsel will be here. Our Tech Commercialization Office will be here. USTAR Link will be here, the Wayne Brown Institute, and our Small Business Development Center will be housed here. This will be just such a fertile, robust place of ideas and exchange and mentoring in one stop. So when someone walks through those doors and they need help, they'll have not just the physical space that can provide some incubation opportunity, but a wealth of mentoring and encouragement and wisdom that they'll be able to take advantage of once they walk through these doors. I can't help, while I've got everyone's attention, boast about the great work of Ken Fackler and our Small Business Development Center. Last year, we served over 600 clients, helped start 72 businesses, created over 200 new jobs, increasing sales by nearly $6 million. As a result of that, we were recognized by the Small Business Administration as having the #1 small business development center in the state of Utah. To Ken and his team, I think that deserves a great round of applause. So I think, as you can see, this wonderful building and these terrific facilities and all that it means is part of something much larger. It's part of a broader business engagement strategy that's our commitment to the community to say we are going to do everything we can to be responsive to the business needs and opportunities of this region. But it's even larger than that because it's part of a broad university mission, and this is I'll close on these terms. We talk about just a few core themes in our university mission. And you can see at the top there, we talk about this engagement. And this is a manifestation of our engagement. We are going to talk to the community. We're going to listen to the community and respond to it. And I believe that when we do that, we drive the other components of our mission. If we can help with economic development, if we can help create the fertile business opportunities of this region, it will generate a better tax base to support education. It will create a range of opportunities for students that can have jobs and internships and research projects. So it circles around all those other things. It helps us move forward. It gives us the monetary foundation to build better programs to become more serious. It helps us have the funding to maintain our open enrollment and be inclusive and be that point of entry for students that need it everywhere. And fundamentally, it provides those opportunities for students. I do want to stress, as wonderful as it is for us to help the business community, we're not just doing this just to be charitable to the business community. I do this because I'm convinced it's the best thing we can do for the students of Utah Valley University. That's why we're involved with this, and we must never miss the picture of that when UVU makes its contribution. We're here because there's students out there that need an education. They need job training, but they need a broader education even than that, and a tight relationship with the business community with an eye towards helping economic development, but doing that in a way that helps students. That's what we want to be about. I am so profoundly grateful to this community, the support that we're seeing here this morning, the leadership from Governor Herbert on through the ranks in this community who are simultaneously committed to economic development and education. It's just an extraordinarily gratifying thing to be part of. I thank you for coming. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. I'll turn some time over to Dean Wright.
Thanks very much, President. I'm glad Martin's been able to join us. Probably must have been about 60 years ago or so that somebody helped us create in this world a bigger vision of what we could do. And that was Sir Edmund Hillary and Norgay Tenzing, his Sherpa, who summited Mount Everest. And today in our presence, we have with us someone else who's helping UVU students and the UVU family set their sights a little bit higher. Let me just give you a little bit of background on Martin Fry and then explain what he's done for the institution. Currently an angel investor with Utah Angels and a partner with Connect, a consulting group focused on accelerating business growth. He's passionate about entrepreneurship. He served at the request of Governor Huntsman as the managing director of the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and while there, he managed programs to create, grow, and recruit businesses to Utah. He spent 13 years with Cisco Systems, where he was the senior director leading the post-sales support teams for their 250 largest customers. He also worked 8 years at ITT, and I know if you look at him, you don't think he's that old, but nonetheless, apparently he is. So ITT Avionics, building electronic defense systems. He's a graduate of BYU in mechanical engineering and from Harvard's Advanced Management program. He currently serves on advisory councils at a number of institutions in the state. He serves on the President's Board of Advisors and also on the Woodbury School of Business National Advisory Council. His first passion is the ocean, actually, but he's moved from that to mountains, kind of the other side of the equation. And about a year ago, Martin approached me at one of our meetings for our National Advisory Council, and he said, "Norm, I'm going to climb Mount Everest." And some people would say that, and you'd kind of look at him and go, "Yeah, great, that's wonderful, good on you." But when Martin says, you're like, "Really? That's cool." And he said, "Is there anything I could do on top of Everest for you that would support your mission?" And he volunteered to carry a flag of UVUs to the top of Mount Everest. And I don't know if any of you have done any climbing. I've done a little bit, a really tiny bit. But when you are kind of that high up, every single ounce counts. Not every single pound, every single ounce counts. And so we found him about the lightest weight flag that we could that would make a good photo op. And he is here to present today and share just a couple of words about why he did this, presenting this flag to President Holland.
Thank you. It was a great opportunity to get to the top of the world. It was a great opportunity also to, when you're there, to realize how cold it is, to thank your family for all they've done to help you get there, and then make a statement. And so I actually planted a UVU flag on the summit of Everest. I'm sorry we don't have a photo here for you. But basically I wanted to communicate to all the current and future UVU students that a UVU education will take you anywhere you want to go in life. And I really have been amazed at the tremendous growth the university has made over the last decade, and particularly its evolution. And President Holland, we thank you for your leadership. And so as a gift for you, as you continue to set high sights and raise the bar for the university, and it's extending out to the broader business community now, we give you, and with much appreciation, the flag that I planted on the summit of Everest. And here, President Holland, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Martin. What a wonderful gesture, and very, I think, symbolic of where UVU is going, and maybe in quite a literal sense. I haven't had a chance to brief the governor and the commissioner, but we will be opening a satellite campus on the top of Mount Everest now that we have officially designated property up there. So. As has already been alluded to, I do want to acknowledge that so much of the stage which we're enjoying here has been set by our great governor. From the beginning, Governor Herbert has made clear that two of his highest priorities are education and the economy and job creation. And so I really did see that as I came into office, I was listening and watching his leadership and inspired by that, and thought that we needed to respond to that. And so, Governor, part of what we're doing here today is an expression of your call to make education the best it can be, and to everyone to do their part with respect to job creation and economic development. And we've seen some opportunities to do that. And so we do present what we're doing here today in many ways as an expression of our recognition of your wise and great leadership on these key issues. And so without further ado, we'll turn the time over to our governor, a Utah County man, a Utah Valley man, a Utah Valley University man who needs no further introduction. Thank you, Governor.
Well, thank you, President. It's great to be with all of you here today. I normally would say it's a red letter day, but maybe it's a green Wolverine green day here in Utah Valley for this exciting new beginning. I don't know what you people did to be out there, if you're the winners or the losers, but it's good to see so many people here on this occasion. And I can tell you, as the governor of this great state, I see a lot of wonderful things taking place in our state and all the counties and the cities and the municipalities, and it's really been a team effort of many people working together. We're doing things, I think, correctly, based on good principles, and we're seeing good results that are taking place. I know as I came down, drove down here, I was just looking out the windows of the Suburban as I came down and looking at some of the different exciting developments that are taking place. And if you just, I know you should pay attention to where you're driving when you go down I-15, but fortunately I have a driver, so I was able to kind of gaze around. And you ought to try that sometime and see all the things that are just taking place down the I-15 corridor. I don't know if you've seen the new Shields building, which is up in the Sandy area. It's, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of feet under roof, but it's ginormous. It's big. It's an outdoor recreation facility that's being built there that's going to be tremendous, and what it's going to spawn in that area is going to be tremendous economic development in the Sandy area. As you look at what's taking place with the new Adobe campus, which now dwarfs Cabela's, which is down the street from IM Flash, that's investing $200 million a year in research and development there, creating economic opportunity and increased product. It's remarkable. You look across the street at Thanksgiving Point. We just had a ribbon cutting there for an expansion for Siri Dynex. Again, a company that's been here for a while, but it's now been taken over and going to be expanded, and new job creation, new businesses. You look across over at Camp Williams at the NSA building, a near $2 billion project that's being built over there that's going to have significant impact, not only on the economy here in Utah on the construction side, but the potential down the road and the good service it's going to render to our country, headquartered right here in Utah. I mean, the list goes on and on as we see economic expansion take place, where the economy in Utah right now is growing at nearly 3 times the national average. Our unemployment rate is stabilized and dropped, and we're 2.2% below the national average here in Utah. We've been listed as the best place in America for business by Forbes magazine for the 2nd year in a row. It's like winning the national championship twice. And I'm going for a three-peat, I want to tell you. And what we see taking place here is really an example of the mentality and the attitude we have here in Utah, that we want to empower the private sector. We want to give them tools and opportunity to succeed in a free market system. The business resource centers that we have here has been mentioned, and we don't need to spend a lot of time going over all the details. The President's done a great job of talking about one-stop shop. The ability that we have to come to a place like this and empower the entrepreneur with skills and assets and help to open doors and facilitate opportunities so that they have the greatest amount of success, the greatest amount of opportunity to find success in the marketplace. So again, I think this is a tremendous day for all of us. I do think back. I saw Ron Hawkins. Where's Ron? Oh, in the very back, Ron. I never could find you when we played quarterback and he played the wide receiver. I could never find the guy, and that's part of our problem. Yeah. The vision of the quarterback. When I did find him, he was usually in a little hump over there where somebody knocked him down and he couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. So I said, where was he? I can't find. Oh, he's blocked. He didn't get off the line. But Ron and I are old enough and have lived here long enough that we can remember when things used to be different. The mayor knows the growth that's taking place here in Orem and Utah Valley, and I think back at CEDO, one of the very first beginnings of kind of a public-private partnership designed to try to help facilitate economic opportunity. How old is CEDO now, Brad? 1984, national championship year for an institution to the east side. A little lesser known, but anyway, again, former Mayor DeLance Squire was involved in that. My father was involved in that. The Chamber of Commerce, all the things that have taken place to help make this valley expand and grow. This is just another step in the trail as we've expanded and have the opportunity to expand economically and accommodate the tremendous growth. People want to live here. People really do want to come to Utah. I don't know if you know this or not. I've probably said it before, but we've been recognized by national publications based on our quality of life. There's been rated as the best quality of life in all of America. That's pretty high praise. You know, I'm a proud American. There's great places to live in this wonderful country. But the best of the best is right here in Utah. And people want to come here. We need to provide opportunities for them to come here and have a job, and particularly for the internal growth. We've got to provide economic opportunity for the fastest growing state with the highest birth rate in the nation. So it is imperative for us to maintain quality of life that it starts with a solid foundation of economic development and growth. The Business Resource Center here, sited at Utah Valley University in conjunction, is going to help us do that. And as the President's already talked about, there are strategies. He's got 7 strategies he's put in place that he wants to accomplish, that we want to accomplish here at Utah Valley University, that have bearing on economic development, the ability to create jobs and economic vitality. And it's on both ends of the spectrum. We need to create a labor force that's educated, that has the skills necessary to go out and compete in what is now a global marketplace. And we need to provide opportunities for the entrepreneur to invest the capital, to create the new products and services that will be the brave new world where we can hire people that have these skills and they merge together. Entrepreneur investment meeting skilled labor creates economic success and jobs and economic expansion, which raises all boats on the pond. The economic opportunity for us to expand the boats on the pond means that our standard of living all increases and our quality of life is good. And again, we are a great example here in this state of how that principle works. That's what's made America great. It's what's making Utah the leader in the nation, certainly leading the nation out of this economic recession that we were just going through right now. I appreciate the fact that at this Business Resource Center, that in order to help the entrepreneur, that 70% of the space here is going to be dedicated to startups, to incubator-type businesses, to help start them and accelerate them, to give them every opportunity as we have fledgling new businesses. I kind of picture new seeds placed in the soil that make sure that they'll be able to sprout and grow and that we'll receive a crop at the appropriate time. This Business Resource Center will help that to take place. I do note we had a list of those who are going to be housed here, and again, my first inaugural address here about 2.5 years ago had to do with the fact that we needed to, in better ways, to have unprecedented partnerships. If we have unprecedented partnerships, I believe we have unlimited opportunities and unlimited possibilities as we go forward. The competition is great out there. It's not just the people down the street anymore. It's the people outside of our borders, outside of our country. It's China. It's India. It's countries that have a lot more people than we have here wanting our jobs. And so we've got to run just to keep up. In fact, we've got to do more than that if we're going to compete, and not only compete, but to win. And so the environment we're creating here, I think, is significantly important. Ted McAleer and our U-Star program, doing some great things with our research and development side. Again, our MEP, our Manufacturing Extension, our Cluster Acceleration program here. Again, UVU, President, as you know, has been a leader in our digital media cluster. We have 7 clusters in Utah that we're trying to do. We have a plan too. We have strategies. We're not just flying by the seat of our pants. We actually have a design and a plan in place that we're implementing and working, and it is working. But the digital media cluster that we have here at UVU has been able to bring universities together. And just in that cluster alone, we have 1,500 jobs, about $415 million in revenue, and that sector is growing in a significant way. Just to give you a kind of a practical application of that, I don't know how many of you know of the author Edgar Rice Burroughs, but Edgar Rice Burroughs, his most famous book was Tarzan. And but what you probably didn't know, if you even knew that, was that he was a cop in Salt Lake City for a short period of his life. But he wrote a book called A Princess of Mars, which has now been made into a movie called John Carter of Mars by the Disney Studios here a year ago, which was the largest movie production in the country, filmed in the Four Corners area of Utah. Again, it's a nice thing for us to tout, and we've had a lot of movies made over time here in Utah. This is going to be one that I think has great potential to be kind of like a Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, filmed here in Utah. The important aspect of that is, though, that it's one of those animations, digital media that's going to be done, and a lot of the work was done by Utah people that have got Utah ties to UVU and other schools here where that talent has been taught. Utah-trained digital media professionals helping to make that movie, by the way, will be released, we think, in March. So, yeah, just a little trivia. You'll kind of watch for that. Let me just conclude by saying, again, I know it takes a lot of us working together to make it happen. It's not any single individual. It's probably has its roots back in CEDO. Maybe before that, other pioneers and leaders that said, you know, we can do more here on the old Provo bench than just raise apples and cherries. There's been the pioneers have come that started, the Alan Ashens that started the Word Perfect that kind of put us on the map, the people that developed the University Mall that changed the landscape here in Utah Valley and here in Orem. Ron and I are old enough to remember when this area here was what we called the sand dunes. There was nothing here, just a lot of sand and lizards. And we used to walk down from Westmore Elementary School, come down here and catch some lizards, and then we'd take them back, and Ron would use the lizards to scare the girls. I'm proud to tell you I didn't need lizards to scare the girls. I could do it on my own. But, I mean, the change that's occurred, you know, over the last generation is pretty remarkable. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes change is difficult, but I'm here to tell you the change has been for the better, for the good. Our quality of life is better. Our opportunities are better. We're an example to this country and to the world of how things can and ought to be. So I'm proud to be the governor of this great state, and I'm proud of what Utah Valley University is doing and the contributions it's making. Now, President Holland and I have had serious discussion about the future of Utah Valley. Again, I'm old enough to remember when we had the little trade tech out in Provo. I actually attended school there during the summer, not because I had to, but because I chose to. And I actually learned to be a draftsman by taking courses at the old trade tech. I had the great privilege of being on the foundation board, of coming here and helping it gain a site here in the new campus area to create the first four-year degrees, the community college standard, and then finally university status. Helped with the McKay Events Center, the ballpark. My fingerprints are all over Utah Valley University, and I'm proud of the great success that Utah Valley University has had in its heritage and its legacy, but I'm extremely optimistic about its future. It is the largest university we have in the state of Utah and the fastest growing. That's a blessing and a curse that we give to President Holland and the Board of Trustees. We've got to address some of those issues. How can we continue to do this to make it an integral part of our universities throughout this great state? And how can we accommodate the demand that clearly is coming here to this university? Growing the economy is a big part of that. If you want revenues to come into the taxpayers' coffers or into the government coffers to run the government organizations, it has to happen based on a foundation of economic growth and prosperity. It's the only way we can fund adequately our institutions of higher learning, build our roads, fund the government services that the people think are important. So this is really a collaborative effort by many people to get us to where we need to be today and where we need to be tomorrow. So my congratulations for everybody who's been a big part of this. Those past that aren't here that we ought to pat on the back, those who are here and those who are coming, as we work together to make sure that Utah maintains its lofty position as the best place in America for business, and the state that has the best quality of life, a desirable place to live, raise families, and to do business. Congratulations to one and all.